Just minutes ago, we told you a second case of mumps has been confirmed in the valley. And joining me now to talk about the disease is Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein, the Medical Director for Disease Control with the Maricopa County Department of Public Health. This is alarming, especially when we've had all of this discussion recently about vaccines and their effectiveness and issues that at least some parents have. In this case, we don't know for sure if this is because somebody didn't get vaccinated, but do you believe we'll see more cases like this if this trend continues?
Well, what we're seeing in this country and unfortunately all over Europe and other countries is that fewer people are getting their children vaccinated. And so those rates of vaccination are dropping so low that they've lost community immunity, which is what protects the population from getting exposed to these diseases. So unfortunately, if we continue to see vaccination rates drop, we might see more of these vaccine-preventable diseases.
And so for parents that are concerned, for one reason or another, there's a lot of information out there, some of it misinformation. What do you tell parents who are afraid to get their kids or worried about getting their kids vaccinated?
Well, one of the first things I tell them is that I have looked at all of the information about vaccines very carefully, and I vaccinate my own children. And I think that's important for parents to hear. Secondly, there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet, and unfortunately there was a study back in the 80s that falsely reported a link between autism and vaccines, and that study got a lot of credit, where eventually when they did about 10 more studies to prove that there is no link with autism, that individual ended up losing his license and that study was retracted, but it did a lot of damage.
Do we expect to see more cases like this mumps case here in the valley? I mean, at what one do we call it, an outbreak, I guess?
Well, 2 cases of mumps is an outbreak because we normally don't see any mumps. So this is a small outbreak, and what we're hoping is that it doesn't spread any further. And we're watching very closely for additional cases. But we're always watching for more cases because our vaccination rates have fallen dangerously low in the valley, below that 95% that you need to have that community immunity.
Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein, thanks so much for being with us today.
All right, thank you for having me.